Hey guys, so I found a very good method to make lots of gold extremely quickly. So first things first, I'm going to show you guys my gear and how I'm doing this, and then we'll get into it. So first things first, this is all Squire gear, but my Squire is upgraded a little bit. And to upgrade the Squire, basically what you need to do is you need to do quests that give you more affinity. Like you'll see here with the Woodsman, I get affinity for doing this quest where I find the waiting room. You need to upgrade the shop givers and then your Squire gear will be better. So let's come over here, guys. And this is all just base gear. So I recommend the Occultist Hood, the Mystic Gloves, Oracle Robe, Leather Trosses, Occultist Boots, Spellbook, Heater, Shield, and Falchion. And then Potion of Healing, Torches, of course, Potion of Protection, and Bandages. And if you have the white version of these instead of the gray ones, because you have higher tier quests done than me, put those on instead. They're literally just straight upgrades, so put those on instead, and it will help you out. And then what we are running as far as perks and skill goes, we have Torture Mastery on, which Torture Mastery did get nerfed heavily, but with this setup, you will still do just fine. Vampirism for more magical healing, which you kind of need with this setup, otherwise you're going to have a hard time. And also Curse Mastery, which some of you guys might think this makes you do more damage, which it does on certain spells, but then other spells, it actually makes you do damage more slowly. I believe Curse of Pain is the example for this. So keep that in mind, guys. But the real reason you want this on is because it makes it so your Curse of Pain and your Power of Sacrifice do more ticks, which means more healing. Those aren't your main damage source with this build. Your main damage source is something else. And then I use Shadow Touch because it just helps me to keep topped off by attacking mobs with melee and helps me get through the dungeon a little bit quicker. But you can also use Anti-Magic instead. I don't believe it actually works on the Lich's main attack, which is part of the method that we are going to use today. But it can be a very, very good one. You could also use Malice in order to get more magical damage. Realistically, though, the fourth perk slot is not your most important perk slot. I wouldn't worry about it too much. These first three, though, have to be these first three, or else this doesn't work. And then you also need Phantomize because you need to avoid PvP, and it's also just helpful for what we are going to be doing as far as PvE goes. Frankly, Blow of Corruption has been nerfed to be not nearly as useful as it used to be, and Phantomize really hasn't been nerfed, so it's just very, very good. From here, what you will want to do is you are going to want lockpicks still because we are going to play high roller. So what I recommend you do is buy iron ingots off the market and then go over to here and hit service with the weaponsmith and craft them right there. Now he only does this once per restock, but what you can do is swap over to your other characters and you can craft them on other characters. So what I do is I keep some iron ingots in my shared stash, and I know this is a mess, but it's full of quest items. And so yeah, bring a couple lockpicks, and then I would also recommend getting at least 2 stacks of the lowest tier of health potion. And so we're trying to keep this as cheap as possible. This is still costing me just a little over 100 gold just for the lockpicks and potions of healing. And then what you'll want to do is queue into the Ruins of Forgotten Castle on High Roller on solo. I don't have it for right now, but basically what I'm going to do, guys, is I have a couple of clips together of this that I have already recorded, and I'm going to commentate over them because this method is very intensive, very difficult, and very hard to commentate at the same time. So let's jump over to that. Real quickly, before we do that, I have one last thing to show you guys. These are my spells. So I have Curse of Pain on, Hellfire, Power of Sacrifice, and Hydra, and then I have Bolt of Darkness on the end. I used to have Bolt of Darkness before Hydra, but I highly recommend against that. And the reason for that is I one time spawned in the Crypts, and immediately as I walked out the door in a small hallway, I aggroed a Nightmare Axeman skeleton and a Nightmare Zweihander skeleton, and I just died instantly. So if I had Hydra on there, I could have blocked the door with that and Hellfired them. It would have cost me all of my health, but I would have lived at least. So that's why you have Hydra on first. Bolt of Darkness is kind of nice for aggroing mobs, and you need Hellfire for killing the boss, which is what we're going to be doing. First things first, here is the gear. And I know I just showed you guys Squire gear. I'm just showing you guys what I'm running in this first run. You do not need any gear to do this, and I recommend you don't bring gear. This was a lot earlier on in the process. Basically, what I'm bringing in is maxed magical healing without magical healing rings on. This setup cost me about 400 gold. And the reason why I don't recommend you guys bring a setup is because it prevents you from taking other items that are worth more that you find in the high roller run. So if you're wearing all this gear, you can't pick up good items that would be upgrades over the Squire gear in the normal run, and it lowers your inventory space. So the maximum way to farm the most gold is to wear the least gear then, because you can carry the most items. Now, that said, this setup does make it a lot easier to kill the boss. So if you wanted to do something like this for while you were learning it, go for it. And I'm going to explain the method to you guys now. Basically, what you do is you kill the Lich if the Lich is the one there. So 33% chance. And if the Lich is not the one there, then you go ahead and you farm Inferno just normally. Now, at first, I was trying to go ahead and figure out a way to also get Ghost King kills in there, which would make this method so much better gold per hour. And I attempted about, I'd say, 10 Ghost King kills, so that was a lot of rounds to run because he's a 33% chance. Luckily, I got lucky this time. And since the Warlock nerfs, he is way harder. The last time I did solo high roller Ghost King on Warlock, I did it first off in a super juiced set. And that was back before they had nerfed the weapon damage and strength and all of that stuff. So he is way harder now. Do I think he's still possible to kill in a Squire kit? Yeah, I think he's still possible, but not at my skill level. And I'm pretty good at PvE in this game. You would have to be crazy good to consistently kill him. So basically, I just decided, hey, I can't really do that. Even after 10 rounds, I didn't get him really close. I got him at most down like 50% HP. And the reason for that is he's kind of a DPS check. So when you are killing Ghost King, the room fills up with these pools. And little known thing, the pools do eventually go away if you wait long enough. But the problem is the room ends up filling up with so many of these pools that it ends up very difficult to actually kill him in a lower DPS set. So if you still brought in like an absolute top tier set, could you kill Ghost King? Almost certainly. Almost certainly. Do I want to do that though? Is that most optimal for farming gold? No. If I could do it in an all Squire kit, I would, and that would be a better method of earning gold. It probably is possible to do that consistently, but you'd have to be so darn good at that I don't think there even is a player that is that good at the game right now, at least as far as killing Ghost King goes solo. And it's just plain a lot harder now. Ghost King is a lot harder boss than Lich is. And then on top of that, you might also run into people going, hey, is Skeletal Warlord possible? The answer is yes. You can solo Skeletal Warlord. It is doable. Although the clips I have seen of it being done all used named unique weapons towards the end of wipe. Which, to say the least, I don't think that's going to be a viable method to farm gold if you need a named unique weapon. You probably technically don't need one, but he's kind of a DPS check. If you don't kill the minions before he eats them, he gets some healing, if I remember correctly, and he gets way buffed up, which would make him extremely difficult to kill solo. By the way, the method to kill him solo is either Viola Bard, from what I've seen, with Shriek of Weakness, or doing longsword parries with Fulgore, both of which are super expensive artifacts. I think they're like 200,000-ish gold to buy, and that's even for like a not so nice one. So yeah, they're not so cheap. That said, why this method is good for farming gold is because there is a very high chance actually of getting a skull key or a golden key. With base luck, it is a 10% chance each time you kill the Lich, and a golden key is worth about 6,000 gold, and a skull key is worth around 40k. It kind of varies, but same thing for the golden key. And none of this is going to be perfect forever. So that makes it very worthwhile. You also get to loot the gold coin pile, but you don't get to do that for very long because it does take a while to kill the boss. And so you can loot that for a bit, which gives you a chance at the gold coin chest. It is 1 in 1,000 per each roll of the gold coin pile, and that's about 100,000 gold. And yeah, that can give you other very good items such as legendary gems, which are necessary for that one quest, which is very good. I've seen people say that High Roller, Cyclops, and Cave Troll is the best way to earn gold in this game. And I have to say I disagree, because those players are not taking into account the actual success rate on that, because there's too many people trying to do it. This method, on the other hand, is significantly harder. Honestly, if you've got 100 hours in the game, you could probably kill both those other bosses in one run on your first try as Warlock, which, by the way, Warlock isn't the fastest for killing Cyclops and Cave Troll in the same run. That would be Bard, if I remember correctly, or Fighter, who can perfectly parry. But yeah, that said, they're just not that hard. And what that ends up causing a problem with is there's too much PvP on you, because there's too many people trying to do it. So this has led to the backup method of people trying to do it in the under 25 lobbies, which I have also tried, and it is a good gold farming method. It is a fantastic one, but I found this one to be a little bit more efficient, because you do still run into PvP when you are in the under 25 lobbies. And if you run into pretty much anyone, you don't really deal enough DPS, at least with Warlock, to kill both the bosses and mine all the gold ore and extract. So even if you can consistently kill the other person, it takes too long. Meanwhile, with this, there are so many nightmare mobs in the High Roller Inferno that most players just stay away, or most of the players you will run into, they just stick to one corner of the map where there are extracts, and then they will do that. And what I'm doing here, by the way, guys, is I am luring the mini-bosses, which would be this Wraith, and you saw me lure the Skeleton Champion earlier. These guys have chances for really good drops, so I highly recommend it. And Warlock is the Cheese King, so I highly recommend you cheese enemies. Also, I got a comment going, hey, why do you cheese all the enemies instead of kiting them? Because they are all kiteable. It is doable. The reason for that is because if you ever get hit at all, or even if you're just getting in a fight with any of these guys while you're doing this, you can get attacked by PvP, and then you're not in as good a spot as you possibly could be. Right here, I am out of combat pretty much, other than just spamming towards this raid, and I'm not down any health, and I'm in a very good position. Also, yeah, I think another player is over there killing the mobs. And so that's why I run in the other direction here. And that's what I always recommend you guys do. If you want the highest success rate in these runs, just run away from other players. And generally, they will not chase. Unless, you know, you got someone with wall hacks on you. I have had that happen probably one time in 50 runs where they run after me. And by the way, just so you guys know, those chances go up if you are wearing like a super good kit. Apparently the wall hackers can like see what gear you're wearing, or maybe they just check you in the lobby and then they know what character you're running and they run at you through the walls and they know where you are and they'll hunt you down. I really hope they do another ban wave soon, because even if it is a 1 in 50 chance, I think that's too high, especially if I'm running 0 kit. I'm not getting targeted by those guys nearly as often. And my weapon phases through the wall there. I didn't know that was a possibility. So that was cool, but I'm all good. And so I'm just going to heal off these guys here. And my kit, I actually didn't build any knowledge on this kit. I just bought magical healing items. I probably should have bought some knowledge items, but generally in a run, you will get a knowledge item. And so I believe I have a good idea here at some point. Let's see. I'm thinking about how I can place down a Hydra, if I have any way to get extra spell capacity or anything like that. And I'm kind of just waiting out the fire because I want to loot these guys. By the way, if you guys ever get an enchanted dark fabric from the mages, definitely pick that up and leave it in your stash. Those seem to be very rare to me, and they are very worthwhile to grab for the quests later on. Okay, and so I'm just trying to find something to heal off of here. I'm gonna loot this gold chest. Definitely not the best gold chest ever. And Viking swords can have value, by the way, but the Barbarian just isn't being played the most this time around, so they're not very expensive. And Barbarians, even if they're a really good player, end up dying a lot, so they don't end up with all that much gold. Meanwhile, something like, say, a Rogue usually lives even if their whole team dies, right? So they end up with a lot of gold, So they're a very good class to gather items for. Now, my thought is here, oh, I'll just break these barrels because these are skeleton spawns, right? I don't think they actually are skeleton spawns anymore, so that doesn't work for me. And always grab more health pots along the way, guys. And the reason why you want the health pots is because if Lich hits you with a purple circle, you want to be able to use health pots in that situation, just because if you hit yourself with even a little bit of damage, the purple circle does 95% of your health in damage. And wow, that is a halberd right there. I'm like, okay, I want to grab that, but I also don't want to get rid of the blue falchion because that is definitely worth the slots. So I'm grabbing the blue halberd here. I'm pretty well versed at playing with the halberd, so that is a good weapon for me. I also tried playing with the bardiche, and I played with the halberd a lot, trying to learn the Ghost King here. And ooh, what do I find? 3 additional memory capacity, 1 knowledge necklace, and I guess you guys will see what I do here. I go ahead and I swap it so I can spawn in a Hydra. And then I do Curse of Pain, and then Power of Sacrifice because I can't be losing ticks here. That's not good. And then I swap back to my magical healing necklace, and so I'm still getting mostly plus magical healing, and I do heal a little bit off of that. It is very difficult to heal off of your Hydra now, though, guys. It is not nearly as good as it used to be, so the Hydra spell is not, like, super high priority as far as healing yourself goes anywhere. And yeah, I did miss there. That was not good. Do keep in mind, after you cast a spell, there's about a 1/4 second delay until your hand goes out and actually cast towards the mob, so you kind of have to track in this game. We're just gonna kill this guy. Mummies have good drops, always loot them. I get a Ring of Finesse there, that's an upgrade. And then I just want some loot here. I was kind of wondering where the wizard went there, where the mage went. And now I hear another player opening. I put my weapon away, and I phantomize, and go straight to my red stairs. Always know where your extract is, whether it be close by a blue staircase or a red staircase. I probably could have fought that guy in one. I am in a full magical healing kit. But generally just don't want to risk it. It's really not worth it if you're just trying to get maximum gold per hour. And I understand not everyone's just trying to be a complete gold farming bot. I get that, guys. If you guys want to do the PvP, that is up to you. This is just the way I play. Plus, you can make some good money off of PvP as well, especially if you're consistently winning. I let him shoot out his poison clouds there to get rid of him. And generally, I would recommend that you loot a couple of things in Inferno first before you go into the boss room, because you never know when you're going to get a good upgrade beforehand, especially if you are playing on base Squire kit. It is quite easy to find a very good upgrade early on. And right now, I'm just finding treasure. We'll see if I find any upgrades. I don't really remember if I do. And I do have like half a kit on here, so it's a lot less likely to find an upgrade. Looks like I don't find anything. I aggro the skeleton below. That's not another player on me or anything. And I do want to get rid of this dragonfly. These things don't do nearly as much damage as they used to, but you definitely want to get rid of them still. And I'm a little bit down on health, which is never fun, but it doesn't really matter all that much. And I get 1 will ring with some memory capacity bonus. That is an upgrade. I don't know if that gets me Bolt of Darkness, but it's definitely an upgrade. And okay, no, it doesn't get me Hydra. I have Hydra on last tier. Don't do that, by the way, guys. This is like an older clip as I was testing out the method. And so right there, I'm hitting him with some Power of Sacrifice, Curse of Pain. Power of Sacrifice actually ends up healing you more, so you definitely want to hit the boss with that. And you do want to hit his minions as well. You have a lot of things to heal off of here. Now, your big goal is to kill the archer skeletons first. You need to kill them quickly. And on top of that, guys, how the circles work is the purple one, if you aren't stacked with other players, does 95% of your health to you. I believe the blue circle does 50% of your health to you, and you want to be away from other players. So RNG-wise, you want blue circles. That's what is better. And the reason why you kill the archer skeletons quickly is because otherwise they're basically a little bit stronger than nightmare skeletons, and they can become a real hassle to kill when this circle phase comes around. And don't go outside the circle. It will hurt you unless you really have to like get away from the boss or a circle like I did there, like the little orb. I do like keeping the melee ones alive though, and I like them getting upgraded because what ends up happening if you keep moving is they become perfect cover for the orbs. And so try and group them all together like I did here. This is pretty much perfect. And then hit him with Hellfire and his minions with Hellfire. And then if you are low on health, you kind of need to keep track of the boss health. He has 3,500 health, and I believe he does the circles 3 times. So you don't want to hit him down past, I think it's like 30% health or something, with the Hellfires, which do about 100 damage while you're low on health. And here I'm getting hit by a purple circle. Luckily I have Curse of Pain on him. I am going to drink a health pot as well. And you do heal back up automatically from getting hit by the circle, but I could die in like 1 arrow hit here. That's another reason why you kill the archer skeletons first. And if you just go ahead and push him to the next phase properly each time, you will never have an issue with the archer skeletons killing you. That won't be a thing. But all of this takes skill, and you kind of have to like learn the boss appropriately. I was trying to kill the archer skeleton with it there, but we end up just using the melee skeleton. Also, aim your Hellfire slightly down so you don't run into them. Otherwise, you will get messed up quite badly. And whenever you get hit with a circle, immediately go for heals rather than Hellfiring him more. Even if it is a blue circle, you want your health to be full at all times. Low health is not good, because you can run into other players here still. I have had rangers come in the boss room and shoot me with like a stray arrow. If you do it well, that's not going to kill you, but they can interrupt your fight, and it can be really bad. And I really like it here where he is just sitting kind of towards the middle, and all the archers are as well. So I want to stay close so they don't get dragged. And I power sacrificed myself there, which can kill you. Just make certain to put a lot of heals on the mobs around you if you do that on accident. And do not push him to the next phase. Honestly, I should not have been Hellfiring there. But if you guys know his health bar enough, you can do that. Just as general practice, though, don't. Okay, and don't run into your Hellfire there after you get hit with a purple circle. That would have killed me if I did that. And now I'm healing back quite quickly. I have Power Sacrifice, a Curse of Pain on him, a Health Potion, and I'm healing back from the circle damage. And so we want to hit him with that again. And of course, we want to hit an Archer Skeleton with a Power of Sacrifice. This boss fight is not easy, guys, and this is the easiest Crypts boss. But that's why we're soloing this one instead of the other ones. They're designed for 3 people. It's just what you got to do. And I would say Warlock is the best character for soloing him. He just does a lot of damage, and he can kill a lot of enemies at once with Hellfire being piercing. There is an alternative method to kill him, by the way, guys, where you use the one that, like, Firewalker, I think, or whatever it's called, and you phantomize into him and leave fire on top of him. That's more of a kitted style, though, and I can't say I've actually learned that style, so I can't teach you guys on it. I believe I'm on circle 4 there, actually. So when I said 3 earlier, I think I was spreading some misinfo. Also, I was noticing there that I was going to run into my Hellfire, so that's partially why I ran back, and I partially ran back because of the orb. Also, the Curse of Pains and the Power of Sacrifices on the boss do a decent amount of damage. You technically can kill the boss in time just by using those. So that's another reason to keep them spammed on the boss. But if you think he's about to circle on you and you don't have enough health to eat it, then don't do that. Also, I'm getting messed up very badly by the archers here. You were seeing how badly I was getting messed up, and they weren't even buffed. Now we have all 3 of them buffed. Get far away from them if you can while that's going on, and just continue to spam Hellfire. Luckily, I killed 2 there, which really helps me out, and I need to not hit the boss here. And I end up hitting the boss anyways, but just with a Curse of Pain, which doesn't do that much damage. 4 circles might actually be max. By the way, I have done this a lot, guys. I've probably done 15 kills on this boss. A lot of those were when Warlock was a better character than this, but I've done this quite a bit. I ran through my Hellfire there. That's the reason why you aim it downwards. You can see an archer stuck in him there, which I find quite funny. And he dies. Okay, so 4 circles, guys. And then always loot the boss quickly and take his stuff. We get a golden key, which is fantastic. Magic staff could have been illusory if it was a higher roll. But yeah, the unique rolls are a 1% chance. Also, let's real quick talk about luck here, guys. I highly recommend you guys bring a greater luck potion. you will have a 1 in 3 chance of killing this boss if you do it perfectly, because that's just his spawn rate. And if you are doing that, then greater luck potions become worthwhile purely off of the upgraded skull key and gold key chance. That will, on average, double your skull key chance and your golden key chance, which covers the cost of the potion entirely. It also does help with gold piles, so it's useful for that. Otherwise, though, it really won't end up doing much for you guys. I have another video on how luck interacts with the game. I would highly recommend watching it, guys. And because it interacts with the game weirdly in a way that doesn't make sense. By the way, what I'm doing here is I'm clearing out my inventory. That way, if I get a big item roll from the gold coin pile, it doesn't like put those on the ground, guys. It puts those in your inventory. And if it's too big an item, it just doesn't give it to you anymore. I would actually recommend you clear out a bit more space than that. I think if I cleared out one more row, I would have been doing a lot better. But yeah, I'm just going to loot this a couple times and not worry about it any more than that. Also, always close the door into here. You can get attacked by other players here, and you're best off having the door closed rather than getting shot in the head while you're looting the gold pile or something like that. Now, if you hear them coming in and they open up the door, what you can do is you can phantomize away and find another door to go through. Make certain you always put your weapon away while you're phantomizing, because it does slow you down if you have your weapon out while in phantomize. And you will go quick in phantomize then. Then your goal is just to find a portal as quickly as possible. Each map has a best portal to go for. I would say the spider room on that one map is the best one to go for. Also, you guys might not know that they have randomized the boss spawns. It used to be per map. You could just automatically know, yeah, it's going to be this boss or it's going to be this boss. That is not how it works anymore. And what I'm doing here, guys, is I am just filling up my inventory again with these items that I consider good. And then I am leaving. I probably honestly should have done one more loot on the gold pile, but it's just an optimization thing. And this was an earlier on kill. The reason why I put this kill in is because, hey, I got a gold key. That's a lot of gold. I'm trying to figure out which area would be the best for the portal here, by the way. And I have decided the bottom right would be the best area. This area has a demon centaur and a demon berserker. What you want to do is the demon berserker is going to be close to the door here, and you really can't avoid them with their walking path. So drag them into the boss room and then just close the door on them because they take too long to kill. It's not really worth it. So I'm just going to drag him into the boss room. And then if the demon centaur gets on me, which he can with his walking path, then I will just drag him into the side room there. And any of the other enemies in there, I feel quite confident in just killing in a 1v1. Technically, Demon Berserker and Demon Centaur, you can kite as well and kill them. I just really don't want to. It takes too much time, and I just wanted to extract here. Honestly, I probably could have gotten 2 more rolls out of the gold coin pile, but I'll get better at it. And that's it for that run. I made about 9,000 gold from that run, so that one was particularly good. Obviously, because I got the gold coin key, that's like, the golden key, I should say. That's like an extra 6,000 gold. So that was a lot. And then I had some other item in my inventory that I'll put up on the screen that sold for a lot. And so this is another run here, guys, that we are going immediately into. And this is a more normal run. That last one was just a Lich kill. I'm going to show you guys what you do if it is not the Lich. So first things first, you got to get through Crypts. If you already know High Roller Inferno well, Crypts is actually more dangerous because not many people go down to High Roller Inferno in solos. They do in trios and duos, by the way, so careful there. But on solos, they generally don't really go down, or they stick in their own corner and don't engage in PvP because it's almost a certain death sentence. And my toes get clipped there. And my arm gets clipped there, and I'm just like, how am I getting hit by this guy? Because they're a lot easier to kite on the stairs generally, but I got barely clipped each of those times, I'm fairly certain. And so when you're doing this on a normal run, your whole goal is avoid PvP if you're trying to maximize gold per hour. And once again, the reason for that is every time you engage in PvP, you have a chance of dying. Chances are you aren't one of the very best players in this game PvP-wise, because everyone wants to be the best in this game PvP-wise, and you will encounter people you lose to. Now, if you are one of those top 1% players PvP-wise, maybe it would be smart for you to engage in PvP. But honestly, if you're one of those players, I don't know why you're watching a PvE farming video in the first place. You probably have hundreds of thousands of gold from stealing other people's kits. Meanwhile, what I like to do is I like to farm with a method like this, and then I like to buy a super juiced kit. I mean, this wipe I'm definitely going for a cheaper named unique, and I'll be going with that for one of my Giga Juiced kits. I haven't had a named unique yet. Also, I meant to talk about that with the Lich kill. Each time you kill it, you have a 1% chance of getting a named unique. That named unique will almost certainly be a magical item because the named uniques are specific to certain bosses. For instance, Spellweaver, Illusory, Xerxes' Eye, those are all specific to Lich. I think he has one or two more as well, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. And then, for instance, like Viola is specific to the Frost Wyvern. And then I think Kuma's Fang or Kuma's Claw is specific to Skeletal Warlord. The axes are specific to Ghost King. And you guys will see if you try and buy a named unique, the named uniques are pretty much completely dependent on what boss they drop from for their actual value. I will say Kuma's Claw and Kuma's Fang are probably the best ones, so they're also valued highly because of that. I should also include Viola in there. Viola is just crazy, crazy good with its slowing effect and its added magical damage, but I haven't even seen a Viola yet in the trade chat. And if you guys do want to get into buying named uniques, what you generally do is you buy skull keys with all of your gold. They cost about 40k on the market, or you can buy them for gold coin bags in the trade chat. And then you go into the trade chat and actually trade with someone for it. Generally, the ones that are listed on the market are the low tier named uniques. Like you'll see Stinky Sticks on there, which aren't even worth a skull key. You can get them for about 25k. Stinky Stick is just plain bad, though. There's a lot of legendary weapons that are significantly better than Stinky Stick. Pretty much all the other named uniques just blow it out of the water. That said, though, what you do is you go in the trade chat and you trade for it. And the reason why everyone goes to the trade chat for that is, from what I understand, it just has to do with the taxes on the items. I don't think the taxes work the same way in the trade chat. So people want to rather trade for other items and avoid the taxes because the taxes do go to a percent-based system on high-value items. Also, if you get a named unique weapon or a skull key and want to sell it, I would recommend you go to the trade chat to do it. You can check the value on the market beforehand, but yeah, I would recommend actually selling it on the trade chat itself. Kind of going back to the old school, you know? And I have myself in a tricky situation here. I did not mean to fall off there. And I get hit. This is not a good situation. Then I get hit in the legs. And he's dead. Okay, cool. I didn't want to get off this platform here because that would mess me up with the Wraith. And now I just bop him in the head over and over. Big reason why I recommend the shield, by the way, guys, is you can just block in that situation. I was getting used to playing with the halberd before this, and so I was completely forgetting I have a shield. It's a little bit embarrassing, but yeah, I should have been using my shield there. Luckily, I'm Warlock, and you get away with making mistakes on Warlock. I've seen a lot of people also say that they get worse playing Warlock, which I find funny because I definitely get it. You get away with making way more mistakes on Warlock, and you don't have to play nearly as careful, which is kind of what I like about him, but also I could definitely see how that makes you worse at the game. And I believe that was a blue rapier there, which is worth some money. And I'm grabbing all the campfire kits, by the way, because I just like grabbing those for the campfire quest for my other characters. There's a lot of characters that I really don't like playing at low levels, but if I can just quest them past the low levels and get them the perks, then I do like playing as them. And so I kind of just feed them as my other characters. I'm planning to get everyone to level 20 this way because with this method, you actually end up filling out all of your trading slots super quickly. So what you can do is trade those items over to other characters that are level 20 just using your shared stash, and then just list them on the market there. And the reason for that is the purple items you find can oftentimes be like 1,000 gold items. Those generally take like at least a day to sell. So if I have like a Saturday or something where I don't have work and I do this for 4 hours, I've generally got like a stash and a half full of items to sell, even if I've been selling constantly on the one character the whole time. So if I level up all my characters level 20, then I can do that. Also, let's go back to questing real quick, guys. Highly recommend that you do your quests. I was putting off doing like the gold bar quest and all that stuff for a while to let the prices drop. If you guys are doing this method, I'd recommend you just earn some gold and do the buyable quests immediately. Because, for instance, like the weaponsmith, if you get that upgraded, you can spawn with a white falchion instead. Or if you upgrade the tailor, then you get better leather chausses, you get better oracle robes, you get better occultist boots. I don't know if the occultist hood is on him, but yeah, you get basically better for all of your armor. And that upgrade is huge for this method. Like, that will make a night and day difference, because an extra 1 or 2 knowledge makes a huge difference. An extra 1 or 2 magical healing makes a huge difference. So I highly recommend it, guys. And we're just killing this wizard here. I kind of thought he would go down there if I hit him with the Bolt of Darkness, but obviously wizards have a bit more health than the archers do. And I kind of get hit by that one there, and I'm kind of cornered, but I knew the Hellfire was going to kill him, so we're good. Now, I'm just trying to get over to a Hell Staircase and trying to loot any jewelry along the way. Lots of jewelry spawns on these shelves, by the way, so I highly recommend that you go through here and find, like, the actual wearable jewelries. Especially rings. Those are worth a lot per slot, and you can really up your gold per run if you know the spots where jewelry can spawn and hit them every single time. This guy kind of sits still for a while after attacking. It's really weird. I don't know if he's supposed to do that. But anyways, we'll take the kill for free. Let's go on to this flat chest. Nothing really in it. These guys, you can tell if they're going to do their double attack, by the way, because they will swing to the side first. And so you can know if they're going to do their double attack. They have 2 separate attacks. One does a double, one just does a single, like normal. You kind of want to force the single one. But if it does the double one, then you know it's coming, and you got to step back a little bit further. And I think I aggroed the mage there in the room to the bottom right through the wall with my Hellfire. Once again, another reason to spam your Hellfire downwards instead of more up. That way it will go underneath the map and other players won't see it. It won't aggro nearby mages to give away your position. Things like that. Honestly, I see a lot of players saying this game doesn't have like a high skill cap and things like that. I think that's such a load of baloney. I know it's not like Mordhau or Shiv or any of that stuff that has a super high skill cap, but this game has a very high skill cap. Also, just so you guys know, I did count across my runs. I ran into PvP about half the runs. Except I never died to PvP even a single time. I killed a couple of players when I got forced to, but generally what I ended up doing like 90% of the time when I ran into players was just run away. I didn't really want to fight them, and with Phantom Eyes, they have a super hard time chasing you because generally you can just phase through mobs, and it makes it super easy to run away. Honestly, I think Phantom Eyes is a little overpowered. Would not be surprised if it ends up getting nerfed. Healing off these spiders. And I just miss on an almost stationary target. Let's kill these guys. We're on full health. If you want to get better XP, by the way, do break more barrels and things like that and kill more mobs. The higher tiers of mobs do give more AP, which is better for ranking up. You'll see I've got like Pathfinder rank, and I actually don't generally care for AP. It just so happens that this method ends up being extremely good for farming AP. So if you end up doing this a lot, you will rank up quite a bit. I did lose quite a bit of AP as well, just trying to do those Ghost King runs. But now that I've decided, hey, that's not really for me, the AP is going to be going up. Honestly, you could get to Demigod just doing this repeatedly. It wouldn't be the fastest grind method, but it would be a good grind method. I should have hit him there with Curse of Pain first. Hellfire costs a lot more when you're using Torture Mastery. By the way, you can also do this setup with Life Drain with 0 Squire gear, just for doing the Inferno itself. Killing the Lich with Life Drain, I think you technically could, but that doesn't mean you should. It would be extremely, extremely difficult. We want to heal off this Archer. Archers are some of the easiest Nightmare mobs, especially on a Warlock. If you guys want to hit them on a melee, wait until they double shot or triple shot, and then their delay before their next shot afterwards is longer, so you should be able to get in there and do some damage. Also, I aggroed a Hellhound through the wall there. He lives in the bottom left corner of this room, the southwestern corner, and so I ended up aggroing him, which is good, because I needed to clear him out later anyways if I didn't do that. I was just wondering where his body went. It was back there. Get another heater shield. By the way, if you guys find one with physical damage reduction and armor rating, make certain you grab that. It's worth about 1,000 gold even for a blue one, and purple ones are worth even more. If you want a top tier third roll on it, I think it's a max health is the third one you go for. Magic resistance is also highly sought after, but those are very, very rare items. But I've actually found a few, so maybe that's just me being lucky, or maybe they're more common than I think because there's not that many rolls that go on shields in the first place. This is a big reason why I found Ghost King untenable to do, by the way. And that's a great method to deal with the Nightmare Bats, by the way. You can get one shot in and then dodge. You can shield both hits. But this is why I found Ghost King untenable as well. It's very difficult to kill the Nightmare Bats quickly enough after he jumps if you don't have high gear on. Honestly, should have just Hellfired this guy because he's being hard to hit. And if you hit him in the collar, it hurts you. But honestly, I don't really care all that much. I'm like, I'll heal off him. But it ends up killing him. That's alright, though. That is no biggie. This room in the far north on this map, by the way, if you get a no Lich run, then this is just by far the best room to loot. That room in the far north. It has, I believe, up to 3 gold chests, or they could be lion's head chests as well. It's just random. And those have incredibly good loot. You can get legendary items out of them, all that sort of fun stuff. And we'll just kill this archer. This archer is honestly the most dangerous thing in the entire room because he barriers off the one spot where you can go to cheese all of the other mobs. So the moment you kill him, this room's pretty easy. The other problem is if you run into players in here, you can get really hard stuck in a corner. The cheese spot, by the way, is right over here. You go up on top of this step. If players start to attack you, drop down behind you. You can get out of it. It is okay. It will damage you being down there, but it is okay. It is very low damage. That is your best way to escape. The problem is if you've hit all these guys with Curse of Pain or Hellfire, all that, apparently if you damage them at all, their aggro timer is like a full minute. So if you got players on you, you're going to have a really hard time if these mobs aren't dead. But you could just run straight into them and then phantomize, or you could invis plot down there to re-aggro the mobs onto them. There's a couple of different methods to avoid PvP here, and PvP is very common in this room. Especially by people of country of unknown origin, we'll say. Because they like to come here because they know this room's good for gold farming, and there are players who are hired to farm gold in this game and then sell it. Those of you who've been playing for a while already know what country of unknown origin is. Okay, we're going on the Demon Berserker. And we get those loose trousers there. Those are definitely worth it over the 1 knowledge pants. That's a big reason not to bring a kit, by the way, guys. That demon dog horn, by the way, very rare, and it is used for a quest. So, very good grab from me. I've only got 2 lockpicks, so I don't think that ornate chest is worth it. And I do want to check the boss here to see if it is Lich. I already have a little bit of the northeast cleared out, so getting to portal won't be hard. And it is Ghost King. And this is from when I was still trying out and seeing if Ghost King was possible. Zweihander is actually a very good weapon against Ghost King. I think Halberd or Bardiche is probably better if you guys do want to try Ghost King for yourselves and see if it's possible for you. It is extremely, extremely difficult, though, guys. I'm not screwing around. Like, it is very absurdly difficult. And that's part of the reason, because you can't really Hellfire cheese him. And don't duck your head down before he casts, because he casts at your head. What you want to do is jump at the moment he casts, and then you want to duck down like that or crouch. You can just basic crouch, and it will avoid, but yeah. Next, what you want to do here is put your weapon away and phantomize, but I am leaving the room. The reason for that is because I got hit earlier, which spawns more puddles in the room, and that basically makes the fight impossible as far as I was seeing. You have to do it basically perfectly for it to be plausible now. You can also just spam Curse of Pain and Power of Sacrifice on him until he dies. It's hard to not get overwhelmed by the Demon Bats if you're doing that, though. And you can see with Zweihander, it is fairly easy to just stab him still, even if he is in the middle of the pool. Also, there is a huge RNG component. You want him spamming his missile spell here, and they have buffed Ghost King since the last time I soloed him, so it is not so easy anymore. Also, you can Phantomize here to move faster. He gets 350 move speed, but his circle isn't exactly the best. He doesn't move in the best direction. You want to aim for headshots. And yeah, I just really am not the best on this boss, if we're being honest. So I'm like, wait, I don't have enough time to kill this boss anymore. That was honestly one of my better attempts, and I have soloed this boss before. It has been a while, though. Yeah, if you guys think you can kill it on your own, that would legitimately be a better method. If you can kill it with 0 gear on and do it on your own consistently, then that is a fantastic method to earn gold. It's probably possible. I just can't see it being tenable for me, because I tried probably a good 10 times on it and didn't really get close. And it needs to be consistent for this to actually be the best gold farming method. Otherwise, you're better off just clearing out the Inferno, because it has so many good drops. And yeah, you can just drag him over here as well and spam him with Hellfire. Which, he's got a lot of health, by the way, guys. I think it's got like almost 2,000, which is close to how much health the normals bosses have. And there goes the Demon Centaur. And look at that, that's a Centaur horn. I think Centaur hoof or tail is one of the ones you need. Apparently Centaur horn doesn't get used for any of the quests. Also, I'm trying to line up that Hellfire on all of these barrels here, but when it goes through the wall, it realigns it, which is kind of annoying, but it's just the way things go. I end up dropping the loose trousers, which are definitely worth some gold. I'm trying to figure out how to grab those as well. I decide they're not worth it. Loose trousers are worth like 125 gold as blues by default. If they have extra speed rolls on them, they're worth even more. Actually, I don't know if I can get speed rolls. Armor rating I know is a good one. But yeah, people are buying them for speed in the first place. So loose trousers are a good find. I definitely recommend keeping them, although I am kind of juicing at this point. I'm sitting real pretty. Honestly, the cloak I have on here, that one I should get rid of, and this knowledge cloak I should put on instead. It's actually not worth the slots for a cloak at this point. And the Watchman cloaks, which are the resourcefulness ones, are not worth the space generally. They're worth about 100 gold without good rolls on them. So I would recommend against grabbing one of those. Also, I'm just opening up here, and I hear another player in there. So I'm like, nope, I'm getting out of here. I would have farmed this room more if I didn't hear another player in there. That would have been my extract to go with. But now I'm deciding, hey, I'm probably best off leaving this lobby as quickly as possible. I didn't get the area with the 2 more Lion's Head chests, but he was right on the other side of that wall, so he could have heard me. And Inferno PvP is generally a lose-lose situation because someone can drag like 1,000 mobs on you that you just can't beat. Warlock has the best chance of beating all those mobs, but you will have a very bad time if you get in a fight with someone. Third blue heater shield this game. Also, I'm grabbing these blue throwing knives because they can be turned in for the blue weapons quest. So those are generally the best thing to grab for that. Francisca axes work as well. And I have a lot of characters that I'm trying to level, as I said earlier. So yeah, that's why I do that. And we're just going to hellfire him through the wall. These guys are not very hard to kite, by the way, but if they hit you, they do slow you. So if they hit you, they can kind of chain reaction you. I always find it just safer to go ahead and cheese. Also, I thought that this bat wing was actually a rare quest item that had some use. It is not. It is not worth grabbing. It is fairly rare, but apparently it drops from like normal bats in the goblin caves as well. And it is not a quest item. I thought I'd just grab it, and I thought I got super lucky on quest items this run. I did get super lucky on quest items this run. That one I shouldn't have grabbed. It was a waste of slots. It's worth like 20 gold for 4 slots. And I'm just listening to the centaur here in case he comes up behind me. Trying to grab the best gold per slot items, and we're out. And I believe I earned about 2,500 gold this run. If I had a good item that run, I'll put it up on the screen now for what it sold for. Anyways, though, guys, if you guys liked this video, go ahead and subscribe for more. I hope this was entertaining and informing to watch. All right, bye, guys.